Alright YouTube, back for just a quick video. Let's see, probably going to be very long. As you can see, I pulled the back seat out, the rest of it, and obviously you can see in the trunk really well. It's kind of a Ford deal. They didn't put much between there. There's not really a structure or brace or cross brace that I know of that goes there, and I've looked up parts, and really it's just either molded plastic or some type of a felt covered some type of board, B-board particle. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. However, I knew there was something there when I looked in the trunk. I was wondering what it was. Once I pulled it out, for those of you wondering, it is a piece of cardboard. And although it doesn't insulate real well, it was cut, it somewhat fit. This is not really what you want to use. I mean, most of this stuff, you can see they use it for a spray paint board too. What a lot of people don't know, especially in these older cars, that the actual Fords especially, they were really bad at this. The gas tank drops in from the top of the trunk. I've probably said this before. I mean, when you open up the trunk, you pull the spare tire out, there's the gas tank. It's literally the floor of the trunk. If you got, I really haven't looked. I see some masking tape there. I don't know if it's holding the wires out of the way, or I'm not really sure. I haven't pulled that spare tire out to see how the fuel lines run. I just know that that's where I assume the center's on top. I don't know if it pulls it out of the bottom or what. I haven't looked yet, but anyway, there's nothing between the passenger compartment and that trunk on these Fords. There's just literally nothing. And so if you've got a leak or a hole or something's, you're got a bunch of stuff in the trunk and you're driving like a moron, and you puncture a hole in something, which I know those gas tanks are pretty thicker on top than most because of the way they're built, because the lip on top, the way they seal them together is, that's actually bolts to the trunk and holds it in so it doesn't fall all the way through. But there's literally nothing between you. So when you got the seat and you got whatever Ford puts back there, which I'm not really sure what it was, what it's the actual, what it was made of in the past. So you have nothing, and so the best idea is to leave a spare tire laying on top, which is kind of typical, so it doesn't burn hot or black or anything like that when it catches on fire. And cardboard surely is not combustible, right? So I guess we could make that a cardboard or some type of a particle board. Really, I mean, this is not what I would recommend using for anything between something you're trying to keep out of the compartment. I mean, these don't seal real well anyway. And I was wondering why it was so noisy in there, especially when I pulled what little bit of package tray was up there, which was also some type of there's a board, there's a harder board, but not like, not like OSB or whatever. I'm not really sure what it was. And it was cut to fit, but then the package tray, the actual whatever material, wherever they got it, didn't fit what they had, so they didn't put it on. Well, I put it on, and it was discolored from laying on the floor, and it did not fit side to side. I just got that same black paint that I used on the carpet, I put in there. When I get this all together, I'll show it to you. But the second reason I'm doing this video, I'm sorry it was so bright there, I think, is they had the seat, and it mounts up here on those, it basically just sits on those two clips on top. And then down here at the bottom, you see a little regular head screw, and then there's one on the other side. It's supposed to, I assume, have big washers. I'm not even sure these are the right screws. I don't know if they just saw holes and put screws in them. That's actually supposed to go, I didn't set this up very good. You see that eyelet hanging down? That's what holds the bottom of the seat in. It really isn't going to go anywhere, but it really needs to be mounted. In case of an accident, like I said, it would have to take a certain kind for that seat to come loose. And if I was going to get beat to death with something in a rollover, I'd rather be beat to death with a seat than I would something else. But it needs to be put in there right. So when I get the seat, I'm going to pull it out. I got some more cleaning supplies, and I'm going to clean that seat. And I want to do, I've looked these up. There's a couple of different ones you can buy that'll go there. One of them actually has an amp built in along with a couple of 8-inch subs. I don't know if it's the name brand stuff, but I'm going to put a stereo in this for my wife. She likes music, but we both do. So I am going to put something in there. So with that said, it's not much, but I'm going to go ahead and run all the wires under the floor or the carpet prior to putting it in, get everything kind of half staged, ready to go. it's so much easier with the carpet out than it is to try to run it through these little channels, which is how Ford did at factory. These are actually the tail light, brake lights, and I assume fuel sender, I assume, runs through there too, and maybe something on the other side. And you can stick all that in that channel, but there really isn't much there. And obviously you got screws that go right there, and you wouldn't hit the wire, unlike the GM, who stuck them things right in the center of the yeah. Don't think I've not done that before. Run screws right through the speaker wire. Couldn't figure out why it didn't work right. But anyway, I'm gonna run them under the floor. It's just a lot easier that way. This could actually use a little more insulation, I believe, you know, over the humps. And this is actually kind of a double. This is actually, this plate here that the seat sits on is actually separate from the floor. I mean, you can actually take this whole piece out and replace this as one unit. I believe one unit. Maybe it's separate on each side. I think that's what it is. I see the seam sealer right there. So to pull the seat, they actually have studs that come from the bottom. Then they have plugs at the bottom to cover up the holes, so they're actually nuts coming in. So you had, that's why, another reason I probably said this earlier, I had to jack the car up to get the seats loose. But anyway, I'm going to put this back together, and I will probably make another video of it with all the interior in. I'm not putting a stereo in it right now. That's just a later thing. I'm just getting this, since I've got this far, since I have to do everything twice, or try to take bolts loose and seat belts just to shove wires underneath. It doesn't look good, and it's not really the way to do it. If you're going to run multiple speakers and multiple anything, be sure anything you do, especially if there's going to be time between it, or if your memory's failing like mine, to mark each end of the wires, especially if you've got multiple speaker wires running back and forth, or RCAs that are colored the same, that you put like masking tape, and I may have said this on another video, 1 and 1 on either end, or 2 and 2, or however you want to do it. It makes sense to you, because there's nothing worse than getting everything here and you've got 6 sets of wires at one end and 6 sets at the other. You have no idea which ones are which. So anyway, kind of think that through, and like I said, it's not that difficult, but it sure will save you a headache in the end. So anyway, I'm going to get off here, and I'm going to try to, I don't know if I'll get this put back together today, but I'm going to do my best. So talk to you later.